Welcome to MindBlow, the ultimate destination for jaw-dropping content that will surprise, inspire, and entertain you every step of the way. If you love discovering the unexpected, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share with your friends to keep the excitement going. Your support helps us keep blowing minds and creating content you'll never forget. So buckle up and get ready, because this is just the beginning. How did a nation of just over 110 million people become the biggest strategic headache for a superpower of 1.4 billion? The Philippines and its standoff against China is a modern-day David and Goliath tale, unfolding on the resource-rich waters of the South China Sea. On paper, it's a mismatch. China has the world's largest navy and a massive economy. The Philippines, a developing nation with a modest military. Yet, it's the Philippines that's become the main obstacle to Beijing's ambitions for regional dominance. The South China Sea is a global trade superhighway. Over a third of international shipping passes through here, and beneath the waves lie vast reserves of oil, gas, and vital fisheries. Control of these waters means economic survival and global power. The Philippines, with its 7,600 islands, forms a natural barrier between the Pacific and Asia, giving it strategic importance far beyond its size. Any power seeking to dominate the South China Sea must contend with the Philippines. For China, projecting power beyond its coast is a core goal, but the Philippines complicates these plans, turning open sea into contested space. The Filipino people, with a history of resisting colonial powers, have proven far more resilient than Beijing anticipated. This small nation now stands on the front line of a global contest for freedom of navigation and a rules-based order. The world is watching as David faces Goliath once again. At the heart of the conflict is China's 9-dash line, a sweeping claim that covers nearly 90% of the South China Sea, overlapping the waters and resources of its neighbors. This claim has no basis in modern international law and directly challenges the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which China itself ratified. UNCLOS grants coastal states a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone, but China's line brazenly overlaps the Philippines' legal waters. Filipino fishermen, who have worked these seas for generations, now face harassment and exclusion by Chinese vessels. China's justification rests on vague historical claims, but international law rejects these when they conflict with UNCLOS. By insisting on its 9-dash line, China isn't just challenging the Philippines, it's undermining the legal order that governs the world's oceans. The stakes go far beyond maps. They're about sovereignty, livelihoods, and the rules that keep the peace. In 2013, the Philippines took a bold step, challenging China at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague under UNCLOS. China refused to participate, hoping to render the process meaningless. But in July 2016, the tribunal delivered a sweeping victory for the Philippines, ruling that China's 9-dash line had no legal basis. The court affirmed the Philippines' rights to its exclusive economic zone and condemned China's interference and environmental destruction. While the tribunal can't enforce its ruling, it gave the Philippines powerful legal and moral leverage. The decision galvanized international support, with major powers endorsing the ruling and calling on China to comply. The dispute was transformed from a murky political fight into a clear case of defending legal rights. China dismissed the verdict, but its impact endures, providing a foundation for diplomatic and strategic pushback. The Philippines proved that even a smaller nation can stand up to a giant and win. The ruling remains a landmark in the global struggle for a rules-based order. To understand why the Philippines is such a strategic headache for China, look at the map. The first island chain, stretching from Japan through Taiwan to the Philippines, forms a natural barrier around China's coastal seas. The Philippines anchors the southern end of this chain, acting as a gatekeeper to the Pacific. For China's navy, breaking out into the open ocean is essential for global power projection, but the Philippines stands in the way. If the Philippines aligns with the US and its allies, the chain remains a formidable obstacle, bottling up China's fleet. This is why China's actions in the South China Sea are about more than resources. They're about breaking out of geographic confinement. By building artificial islands and militarizing them, China hopes to project power and intimidate its neighbors. But the Philippines' location complicates every aspect of Beijing's naval ambitions. The struggle isn't just over territory, it's over who controls the gateways to Asia and the Pacific. The Philippines holds a piece of the board that China desperately needs. The Philippines' greatest strength is its network of alliances. especially the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty with the United States. Washington has made it clear any attack on Philippine forces in the South China Sea could trigger a U.S. response. This security guarantee is a powerful deterrent, raising the stakes for Beijing. Under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, U.S. forces have rotational access to Philippine bases, allowing rapid response in a crisis. Beyond the U.S., the Philippines is deepening ties with Japan and Australia, receiving patrol vessels, surveillance gear, and joint training. Even European powers are increasing their presence, conducting freedom of navigation operations and exercises with Manila. This growing coalition sends a clear message. The Philippines is not alone. China prefers to deal with smaller nations one-on-one, but Manila has turned its dispute into a global test case for the rules-based order. The world is rallying to support the Philippines' stand. Collective resolve is now Manila's greatest weapon. The Philippines' strategic importance has only grown with rising tensions over Taiwan. The Luzon Strait, separating the Philippines from Taiwan, is a critical passage for military and commercial vessels. In any Taiwan conflict, the northern Philippines would be indispensable for monitoring and controlling this vital waterway. The U.S. now has access to bases in northern Philippines thanks to Manila's new agreements. This positioning complicates any Chinese invasion plan, forcing Beijing to consider threats from multiple fronts. The Philippines has become a linchpin in regional security, giving it new leverage. China can no longer separate the Taiwan issue from the South China Sea. Their security is now intertwined. Ironically, China's aggression has pushed the Philippines to embrace its strategic role more openly. Manila is no longer a bystander. It's a central player in Asia's most dangerous flashpoint. The Philippines' choices now shape the future of the Indo-Pacific. Ultimately, the Philippines' greatest asset is the spirit of its people. Decades of resisting foreign powers have forged a fierce nationalism and a refusal to be bullied. Chinese intimidation has only hardened Filipino resolve, uniting the nation in defense of its sovereignty. Public outrage over Chinese actions gives Manila a strong mandate to push back. The Philippines has become a beacon for other small states, showing that resistance is not futile. By standing up to China in court, at sea, and on the world stage, the Philippines inspires others to defend their rights. The struggle is about more than territory. It's about the principle that law, not might, should rule the seas. In the contest for Asia's future, the Philippines stands as a symbol of hope for a free and open Indo-Pacific.